Hey guys, welcome back to the Outdoor Pursuit. In today's video, we're going to talk about fall weather fishing, the baits to use to avoid the struggles that come with colder weather. So stick around and let's get right to it. So what happens during the fall transition? When most of the country is already experiencing weather in the 60s and 50s, here in the southwest part of the country, our weather is still in the low 80s, high 70s, with overnight lows in the maybe in the 60s. So we still have warm weather during the day, and we have colder mornings and cooler evenings. So we're in a state of flux. Us fishermen, we don't know what to do. As the weather gets cooler, the grass and the vegetation in the water is dying off, right? And fish are looking for places to hide, places to ambush their bait fish. And so as the vegetation dies, fish are moving up. They're looking for rock edges. They're looking for timber, lumber, tules, anywhere they can ambush their fish. And so right now is the time to throw reaction. The fish are all over the place, and you're gonna have to throw search baits, right? You're gonna have to cast out and throw into open water and find those fish, right? Right now is a time of flash. Any baits that are flashy, any baits that cause noise or anything like that, this is the time to throw it, because some of the fish are in deep, some of the fish are shallow. Right? And so I've got a few baits here. I think I've got 5 category of baits that I am going to recommend for you guys, that it's going to increase the odds for you guys to catch more fish. Okay, so let's start with topwater. It's still a good time to throw topwater. And the good thing about now is that you can actually throw topwater not only in the morning, but even in the late mornings or early afternoons. So my favorite bait, and remember, we are searching, we are casting out, we are looking for those fish, because they may be deep or they may be shallow. So my bait of choice right now, it's either a Whopper Plopper or a buzzbait, and that depends on the condition of the water. The vegetation and the weeds are starting to die off. We have a lot of floating grass, and that's a problem for the Whopper Plopper. As soon as that grass gets into that tail, that spinning tail, forget it, it's over, right? So that's why at this point in time and during this season, I start introducing the buzzbait, because the buzzbait is pretty much weedless, right? And it does create havoc in the water with that blade spinning. So like the Whopper Plopper that's got the moving tail, as it goes through the water, the buzzbait has this propeller in the front that causes all kinds of noise and squeaky noise, and it drives that fish out of where they're hiding, right? Fish start reacting and they bite into it. So yeah, I've got a couple of ones. Of course, the Whopper Plopper is one of my favorites. This is a Strike King buzzbait, relatively inexpensive. These are 2 great baits for you guys to still use as topwater. Another bait that I like to use during this time, especially when the weather starts getting a little bit cooler, is a spook type of bait for my topwater. This is a Head and Spook Junior. It's a smaller version of the regular spook, but it's very effective once the weather starts getting a little bit cold. It's a one knocker, so it does make a little bit of ruckus in the water, but it's downsized and it's very, very good. Highly recommend this one, guys. Now, if I didn't say it before, I'll say it right now. This is a time for flash. So a spinnerbait during this time is awesome right now. The flash of the spinnerbait, you're covering water. Fish are chasing bait fish. Right now is the time to throw a spinnerbait in a shad, white color, white chartreuse. They work great right now. So this is a Nichols spinnerbait. I mean, this one is thrash because I've been slaying fish with this bait for the past month, month and a half. Really good right now, guys. It's a bit on the pricey side, but a more budget-friendly version is a Booyah Baits spinnerbait. Or if you want to get a really good, that I just started trying out, really good spinnerbait is the War Eagle spinnerbait right here. Very good baits right here. So throw out your spinnerbaits, cast them out, search for the fish, and you'll get bit, because right now, flash is the key. Okay, my next category of baits are crankbaits. A square bill or a lipless crankbait. Square bill right here. What's unique about this one here, it's got two flat sides. So if you look at the front of it, it's got two flat sides on either side. It's not the round kind of square bill. This one right here is a Spro Little John 50. It dives about to 5 feet, 6 feet max. So it's a shallow water crankbait, but I'll still throw it out in deep water and it'll ride just below the surface. I like these because, and all flat sides are the same way, they've got a tighter wobble as it's going through the water. And as the water gets colder, you want tighter wobbles when you are cranking your crankbaits, right? Little John by Spro, very good. Another thing about the Little John, or this square bill, is that it's got Gamakatsu hooks. And you know I like Gamakatsu hooks. Very good bait to throw right now. As far as the lipless crankbait, this is a Strike King Red Eye. Very good bait. But you can also throw a cotton cordell, which is a little bit more cost effective, doesn't break the bank, but these are also very, very good baits, right? The colors that I like to throw as far as the lipless crankbaits, I like silver. Anything with silver, with a blue top or a blue back or a black back, this is what I'll throw right now. And these things, man, I'll just cast them out there. I'll bomb them out there, and I'll retrieve them, and I'll crank it in. I'll speed crank it. But these are very good baits right here. Another option that for the crankbait that is also a flat side and it doesn't break the bank is the Berkley Fritz Side 5. These are very good baits. They come with very good hooks, and they come in packages of 3 through Tackle Warehouse. Very good baits, doesn't break the bank, and they've got that flat side that some of the square bills have that give you that tight wobble. That's what you want to throw right now as the weather gets cooler. If I was to rank all these baits in the level of importance, this next bait would rank number 1. This bait is the jerkbait. I think for right now, during this time of transition, as the weather gets cooler, the darting action of the jerkbait, reel it in and you pause it, you snap that rod and you pause it. Now is the time to throw the jerkbait, and fish go nuts on it, right? They will react and they will just hit it. And right now, jerkbaits rule. This is the time to throw a jerkbait. This is a Lucky Craft Pointer SP jerkbait, probably my favorite of all the jerkbaits. It's got 3 treble hooks. It's very well balanced, and it's a fish catcher, right? I will, every time I catch a fish on it, all 3 hooks dig in. So a very good option, and I do recommend you guys start throwing jerkbaits during this time. Another option that doesn't break the bank is this Rapala jerkbait, right? Comparatively speaking, this is a 2-hook jerkbait compared to the 3-hook. This has a little bit more weight, so its castability is a lot easier than the Rapala, but the Rapala is still good and it doesn't break the bank. So this is very budget friendly. Throw your jerkbaits right now, guys, because this is the time that you can catch a lot of fish with this type of bait. Okay, so far all the baits that I have recommended are reaction baits. Fish are going all over the place and you are searching and chasing that fish with a reaction bait, right? You want to draw them out. But not all fish are reacting. Some fish are entering that lethargic state where they're just sitting there, they're slowing down. They don't want to chase that bait. For those fish, I do have a weapon in my arsenal, and that's the Wacky Rig. Wacky rigs are very effective, or any other type of finesse, whether you throw a net rig or a weightless Texas rig with a Senko. Anything that you can float in front of the fish will work. Sometimes what happens is you'll throw that bait out there and you'll crank it in front of it and that fish will just look at it. They won't chase. But if you follow up with a Wacky rig or a Ned rig or a Nico rig, anything like that, and you dead stick it, and by dead sticking I mean you throw it out there, you pop it a couple of times, and you lay it there, let it go dead. Don't move it, don't do anything. That fish will stare at it. And it may take a minute, but they will eat it. And I mean, just this past weekend, you know, I was sight fishing and I saw a fish. It was a 3-pounder. And, you know, I was cranking stuff in front of it. Nothing. I threw a Wacky rig right in front of it and he stared at it. And it took maybe 30 seconds, 30 to 40 seconds before he decided to eat it and take it. And I took it out and I landed that fish. Wacky rigs. Now that's for when the fish, you know, are getting a little bit slower, lethargic, the water's getting cooler. You want to have something in your arsenal that you can dead stick in the water. Now, as far as what I use, there's several options. This right here, I believe, is a KVD Strike King Ocho Cinco, I believe they're called. Yeah, Ocho Cinco. But these are the different options we have for the Wacky rig, right? These are stick baits. So my favorite, of course, is the Yamamoto Senko. These are in the 5-inch. These are really good. They've got high salt content, so they are a little bit heavier than the other stick baits, but you know, they're a little bit pricey, but still very, very good. I did mention that I caught that fish in the Strike King KVD Ocho Cinco version. That's also, I believe, a 5-inch. Guggen Baits has the Lunker log. These are very, very good as well. And a very cost-friendly, budget-friendly version of the Senko here is the Yum Dinger. I believe this is also a 5-inch, the Yum Dinger. Very good bait. I think it's only like $3 or $4. And I don't know, you get maybe 8 to 10 Senko or stick baits in there. Very good option. Colors that I use, I basically stick to green pumpkin. You know, I use a #1 octopus hook or any type of round hook and stick my bait on it and just throw it out there, throw it on a spinning rod or any finesse rod you may have with light gear, and boom, you can dead stick the bait out there and the fish will go after it. I'm going to do a quick tutorial on how to set up your Wacky rig. What they do is they sell these O-rings, or sometimes they're bands, but they kind of look like this right here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's just a real tiny O-ring. And what this O-ring does, it goes around your worm as so, and then you slip your favorite hook, octopus hook, or these are some of the, I use a VMC Wacky weedless hook, right, like this one right here. Really good hooks. But you slip it underneath the O-ring, and what it does, when you get start catching your fish, it really saves your worm, right? I mean, if you hook your worm with right through the worm. The fish will start tearing and you'll go through worms real quick. But what this does, the O-ring will hold the worm really good there, and it'll save baits for you. So guys, I'm going to list all these baits in the description. I'm going to put a link to Tackle Warehouse. That way it'll be a lot easier if you guys want to buy these baits. I'm not affiliated with Tackle Warehouse or any of these baits here, but I certainly want to share my experience and what's working for me with you guys. So I'll list everything in the description. As far as the comments, guys, I really want to hear your comments. I want to know if there's anything that you would like me to work on and bring forward to you guys. Also, let me know what your baits of choice are during the fall. I know the rest of the country is going through some colder periods than we are here in the Southwest. You know, I'm sure they are in the late fall stages and we are in the early fall stages, but I still want to hear your opinions, what you guys are throwing out there in your bodies of water. Okay, guys, hey, if you liked the video, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. That'll allow me to do more content. So that's it. Hey, you guys, we'll see you next time, and you guys keep fishing and take care. Stay safe.